Om Nilambujasyyamal Komalangam Sita Samaropita Vamabhagam Panau Mahasayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. Adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side, and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Sri Ramacharitmanas, Balakanda, 26th verse. The glory of divine name, that's the topic that Tulsidasji goes on highlighting. And he's invoking the power of name and divine grace for composing the Ramayana. The very foundation he has already composed. See, in story writing, he is still praying that he is going to begin, but he began already. Namu Ram ko Kalpataru Kali Kalyana Nivasu Jo Sumirat Bhayo Bhangte Tulsi Tulsidasu. In Kali Yuga, the name of Rama is like Kalpataru, is like a wish-yielding tree, and is the abode of auspiciousness. By the practice of smarana, of the divine name, that's to repeat the divine name with profound feeling, with remembrance of God's glory, that's called smarana. Ordinary term is sumiran. By the practice of sumiran, of the divine name, Tulsidasji became transformed. He's talking about himself. I became transformed from marijuana to holy basil. Marijuana is bhang. And Tulsi name, TLC, is well known in the Western world. Try to understand these points. Why do you turn to God? Why do you practice japa? Japa is the very foundation and the commencement of spiritual movement. Once you become involved with mantra and japa, you are seriously involved in a spiritual movement leading to bhakti and mukti. Bhakti is supreme devotion to God, and mukti is liberation. Bhakti and mukti, there are two sides of the same coin, two aspects of the same attainment. Now, reciting divine name, human mind is always working for resolving the problems that you face day by day and securing situations that will not give you problems. This is ordinarily termed as bhoga. Your mind wants more and more bhoga. Giving leniency, again, bhoga can be healthy. If you are experiencing enjoyments in order to allow your mind to go beyond the worldly needs, to turn to God, then that bhoga is perfectly normal. It's just like eating is normal and nourishing. But if you become addicted to wrong types of food and drink and drugs, then that's a wrong type of bhoga. But try to understand the difference between enjoyments. Enjoyments of the world, that's like marijuana. It's addicting. It creates addiction. The more you enjoy, the more you want, and there is no end to it. You are led from life to life, and there is no end. Desires never end. Trishnana jirna vayameva jirna. Craving does not age. We go on aging. So, while Vishaya Sukh, enjoyments of the objects of the world, pleasure of the senses, that's addictive, like marijuana. But reciting divine name and turning your steps on the path of devotion and liberation, that's not addictive, but that works like the mystic herb. Tulsi is the name, having a spiritual association with the Tulsi plant. That we will deal with it another time. But Tulsi, even from herbal point of view, is a powerful medicinal herb that takes care of many things. And psychologically, it produces joyousness. So, without divine name, your mind goes after marijuana. Steeped in divine name, your mind goes after Tulsi plant. So, see the difference. Chahut jugatin kala tihu loka, bhaye naam japi jiva bishoka, Veda Puran Santa Mata Ehu, Sakal Sukrita Phala Rama Sanehu. The glory of divine name is effective in all the yugas. Yugas are ages, periods of time, 4 yugas. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. You must realize I have been reiterating some of these things, which I'm never tired of. But people studying the scriptures have a very different type of understanding. The understanding their mind stretches into history, how things were thousands of years before. And then how the society changed from Satya Yuga to Treta Yuga, and then to Dwapar Yuga, and now we are in Kali Yuga. And how things will happen after Kali Yuga concludes, and again the rotation starts. This form of thinking has its purpose for the masses. But for wise aspirant, time is not the reality. History has nothing to give to you except certain lessons to learn. But you don't go after looking for footprints of Jesus or Krishna. That again, of course, if you are driven by faith, there is no harm. But the most practical point, bring those footprints in your heart day by day. Recite your mantra and feel his presence. History has nothing to do with it. Put it more from practical point of view. When your mind is very calm, say for example for every individual, early in the morning, generally, you are in Satya Yuga. Yuga is states of mind. Then you turn into Treta Yuga. That type of harmony moves away. You get involved with challenging situations of the day. And then you become more involved into Dwapara Yuga. A little more tamas and tricks of the trade enter your mind. Mind becomes a little bit ticklish or tricklish, whichever way you prefer. And then Kali Yuga comes in. Kali Yuga is the most depressed or inertia state of mind, tamasic mind that is haunted by grief, hatred, violence, or any serious dejection. All that's called tamasic. When the mind is haunted by tamasic types, the Rama Japa is the only thing you can take recourse to. And therefore, that's the glory of Nam. The name, Japa of divine name, has its importance in all the yugas. That means in all types of moods. But Kali Yuga, you have no other recourse but Japa itself. Another point to understand, you can always take recourse to Japa without analyzing your mind. Am I in Satya Yuga? Am I in Treta Yuga? Am I in Dwapara Yuga? No matter whichever way your mind is, just continue with Japa. Invoke God. Express, feel the presence of God and create love for God. But all that begins with repetition of divine name. Ram, that's the name for Tulsi Ramayana. But the message you receive is, whoever your Ishta Devata, Ganesha, Durga Devi, Shiva, Rama, Krishna, whoever is your Ishta Devata, that Ishta Devata is the Rama, is the Brahman. ध्यान प्रथम जुग मघ विधि दूजें, द्वापर परिष्टो शत प्रभु पूजें, कलि केवल मल मूल मलीना, पाप पयोनिधि जन मन मीना. Tulsidasji describes the yugas. In Satya Yuga, dhyana, ordinarily translated as meditation, but here meditation implies a profound flow of mind towards God. And of course, by practicing meditation under proper guidance, you promote that. The more sattva there is in your mind, greater is your success in meditation. So in Satya Yuga, dhyana. But when sattva state mixes up with rajas, the peace of mind mixes with distraction, then your practice becomes yagya. Yagya is, physical picture of yagya is pouring oblations into fire. And oblations become consumed in fire, and subtle potency of the oblation begins to spread like in fragrance. But that all that is symbolic. In early stage, learning different yagyas and performing them, that raises the standard of society, spiritual standard. But from very practical point of view, from sadhaka point of view, yagya means cultivating divine virtues and eradicating vices. Say, for example, anger and hate, that's vice. Vices are short-circuited energy, the energy that can give you immense peace. That energy has become short-circuited due to ego, misunderstanding, and therefore anger and hate come in your personality. The scriptures describe them as demons, as terrible creatures. And they ask you to sacrifice them, create fire in your heart, the fire of divine understanding. Catch hold of that creature and sacrifice, put into that fire, and see the smell that comes in as a fragrance. No matter how nasty the creature might be. I'm again and again slipping into those allegorical descriptions. But what I'm trying to say, simple words, that yagya means converting your anger into love, converting your pride into humility, your cruelty into compassion, developing divine virtues. Yagya is to deck yourself with Daivi Sampat, divine wealth. And Gita has given you a whole series of divine wealth. And thinking about those divine qualities that you must develop, that in itself is a powerful help for your mind. So, that's called yagya. In the first Satya Yuga Dhyan, when the mind is very serene, first state, when it has mixed with little rajas, yagya. Go on converting your negative into positive. And then some more rajas enters, and you come into Dwapar state. In Dwapar Yuga, Krishna was the divine incarnation, who was the embodiment of divine love. So in this, and psychologically speaking, that when your mind has come down from the state of peace, and a little distraction entered, and now a little more distraction has entered. Love of God is the resolution to your problems at this stage. And the more you bring love of God, the energy that goes towards distraction will go towards creating divine love. And one word for it, pujan, worshipping God. Kali Yuga, in Kali Yuga there is nothing definite that you can do. Because you are not in a position, your body may be sick, your mind is not in a position for doing anything of a serious nature. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, the simple solution is repetition of divine name. Tulsidasji says, Kali Yuga is the source of all sins and extremely impure. Led by Kali Yuga, human mind becomes a fish swimming in the ocean of sinfulness. Sinfulness. Sinfulness implies that you are not working for attaining liberation. You are not working for developing devotion. You are not moving towards nirvana, liberation. Living your life without fulfilling the purpose of your existence. That's big sin. And the purpose of your existence is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma, ethical value, how good you can be. Artha, material value, gaining material support for living a life of righteousness. Kama, fulfilling your desires in such a way that you progress and you allow people around you to progress as well. Moksha, infinite value of life, that spiritual value, attaining liberation. If you are not fulfilling the purposes of your life, or in simple words, if you are not moving towards God realization, then your mind has become a fish and it is constantly swimming in the ocean of sinfulness, in the ocean of ignorance. नाम काम तरु काल कराला सुमिरत समन सकल जग जाला राम नाम कलि अभिमत दाता हित परलोक लोक पितु माता. In this terrible yuga, Kali Yuga, again, when people hear the Kali Yuga, they blame the whole timing of these days, this period we live in. But that's not the real message of the scripture. The real message is Kali Yuga comes through your mind. You have the capacity to live in the highest yuga possible. But in normal state, human beings face all the yugas through their mind. They are states of mind. And if the mind is highly distracted and pressured by tamas, inertia, the only thing that is very potent to get you out of that situation, divine name, japa. By the remembrance of divine name, sakal jag jala, the whole world is described as big forest. Forest that has many traps. One is led out of traps with the help of divine name. And one is led out of the very world process, which is the biggest trap. In Kali Yuga, the divine name is the giver of whatsoever you wish, is the granter of your desire. Again, you must understand more profoundly. When you start doing divine name, Shri Ram, Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Shri Krishnaya Namah, Om Dum Durgaya Namah, whatever. When you repeat the divine name, it goes on working upon your intellect, your understanding. So, the desires of that will arise in your mind will not be as degrading as it used to be. If you begin to repeat divine name, your wishes will not be of a negative type. So the very power of japa changes your attitude. But if you are not in a position to have a profound change, then corresponding to whatever attitude you have adopted, there will be fulfillment. You wanted more money came beyond your expectation. You wanted certain things to happen, and they happen. But always, act of grace brings happenings that are much beyond your expectation. Human expectations are very limited and miserly. At those points you have to understand. Rama Nama Kali Abhimat Data, whatsoever you want, Ram Nam will give you. And Ram Nam has a double benefit. Hit Parlok, improving your hereafter, and supporting you in this world. While you are in the world, Nam, the divine name, acts like father and mother, supporter and sustainer. And after death, the divine name leads you to higher world. The higher world is called Swarga, heavenly world. But that point I have explained to you before, that Swarga term, enjoying heavenly enjoyments, that's not the goal of life. That's for dull wits. Because even heavenly enjoyments end, and you are drawn into the world of repeated embodiments. But develop a divine taste. If you are doer of virtuous deeds, if you go on developing divine virtues, then you are drawn to the goal of liberation. Liberation is an end of the cycle of birth and death. Cycle of birth and death, that has to be understood. As a human being, the soul in you is a jiva, an individual soul. Just like in a bucket of water, you see the sun reflected. The reflected sun is like the jiva. So no matter where you put the reflected sun, in a better jar, in a better water, The reflected sun is not the goal. It's always at the mercy of perishable things. The goal is not to be confined to the jar, not to be confined to the water. Put it in another language, not to be confined to your body, not to be confined to your mind, to have a realization. I am Brahman. I am the divine self. I am that am I. That's the goal, to realize the I am. Not coming into the world of time and space. But how can the mind work for that goal unless the mind understands the limitations of the world process? Nahi kali karam na bhagati viveku, Ram nama avalambana eku, Kala nemi kali kapatak nidhanu, Nam sumati samaratha hanumanu. In Kali Yuga, again, I'm not referring to the period of Kali Yuga, but that state of mind which is overpowered by tamas, lot of sorrow, lot of dejection, lot of sluggishness, then in that state of mind, you cannot do any special work. You can't practice a special devotion. You cannot gain insight into knowledge of God. One thing is effective, japa, repetition of divine name. And the repetition of divine name removes obstacles that you expect and obstacles that are unexpected. And they are removed in a very mysterious way, sometimes in a humorous way. Ramayana gives you illustration. I'll just give you a few words of that will be described later in the Ramayana story. Meghnad, Ravana's son, who was symbolic of ahamta, egoism. He injured Lakshmana, Rama's brother, who fainted away, and in order to bring him to normal life, what was needed is to bring a magic herb from the Himalayas. That's a storyline. The subtler meanings I will tell you much later. But Hanuman goes for that project. But as Hanuman started for bringing that special medicine, Sanjeevani Bhuti, Kalanemi, Ravana's messenger, Ravana's servant, wanted to distract Hanuman, obstruct his project. So how did he do that? Hanuman was soaring through the sky, and Kalademi, by his magical power, created a wonderful temple. And there he started on his veena, stringed instrument, singing. All of you who are traveling, come, rest. and be initiated by me. All your desires will be fulfilled. You don't have to work hard. So Kalanemi started doing that in a temple situation. Hanuman, who is a devotee, wanted to give respect to the temple and to Kalanemi. At that stage, not realizing Kalanemi was a demon. And the demons have the power to change their shape and form. So he was his looks were like looks of a great sage with wonderful beard and matted locks. And then Hanuman said, "O sage, how wonderful." And the sage says, "So Hanuman, go and take bath and come back and I will give you mantra initiation. And the moment you have the initiation, you will get whatever you want very fast." Hanuman goes into the lake, and the lake was already triggered. In the lake there was a crocodile. It's a demoniac arrangement. The crocodile catches hold of Hanuman's leg, but Hanuman shakes it off and kills it. And when a crocodile was killed, an angel emerges out of the crocodile. Says, "I have been a celestial being, cursed by certain sage. I was a crocodile, and you have liberated me. Don't believe in that teacher. He just wants to do harm to you. He is a demon." Hanuman, knowing who Kalanemi was, he appears before Kalanemi, and Kalanemi says, "Now, receive mantra, sit down before me." Hanuman says, "Let me give you dakshina first. And then you give me initiation." Without giving you for further delay in this story, Hanuman breaks his neck, destroyed Kalanemi. But each time when Hanuman does so, the one who is destroyed becomes liberated. Because the demons are short-circuited energy. They are not realities. When you correct the short circuit, the demon has been killed. The energy flows in a right way. Human personality is filled with demons and gods. And there is always a constant war goes on between gods and demons. The resolution comes when demoniac aspect is sublimated. You can have ordinary victory, can suppress your anger by doing good things. But that is not sublimation. Just like you have short-circuited energy somewhere in your house, you just close the doors, don't go there. That's one resolution. Another resolution, find a technician and have it corrected. So two ways you work with your mind. One is superficial way, another is profound way. So when you get involved with japa and satsanga, you are moving in a profound way. So divine name is like that Hanuman that destroys the negative within your mind. Rama Nama Narakesari Kanak Kasipu Kalikal Japak jan prahlad jimi, palihi dali surama surasal. The name Rama is Narsingha Bhagavan, God who incarnated in the form of man, lion. Kali Yuga is Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu is symbolic of ignorance. Prahlad is devotee, Hiranyakashipu's own son, according to the storyline. But his son is not following the father's ideals. His son has become devoted to Ram. He constantly does Ram, Ram, and the worst thing he does is he spoils all people by telling them how to do Ram, Ram. I'm making a joking process. Hiranyakashipu, in order to correct him, subjects Prahlad to countless tests, throwing him under elephants to be crushed, throwing him into the ocean from a big height, and many other things, having him consumed in fire. But nothing could destroy Prahlad. The idea behind it, if you are installing Rama in your heart, turning to God in a profound way, nothing in the world can really hurt you. Jako rakhe saiya mar na sake hain koi. Another saintly saying, he who is being protected by God, no one has the power to hurt that person. Bal na baka kar sake, not even a little hair can be drawn out of the person. So if God is sustaining you, there is nothing to be afraid of. And that God is your innermost reality. Bhaye kubhaye anakha alas hun, naam japat mangal dishi jastas hun, sumiri so naam Rama gun gatha, karunai raghunatha himatha. Repetition of mantra, the repetition of divine name, is the giver of benefits always. There is no contrary result. This point is important to understand. There are many ashrams where you go, and I'm not talking about those who are ideal, but those ashrams that are on a very ordinary level. They go through too many rules and regulations. A mantra has been given, and if you do not, and you are told more than the glory of mantra, you are told more of the hurtful experiences you will have through your mantra. You do not say it in a right way. If you do not observe certain disciplines along with the mantra, if there are so many conditions, if they are not met, your japa is going to be harmful to you. And that becomes a very big problem for the masses. Tulsidasji says that's not true. But why do the scriptures speak of the disadvantages there again is a profound psychology involved. Mantra is going to give you the most profound goal. If you slip from reciting the mantra in a right way, you will miss the profound goal. Profound goal is liberation. That is the danger that your mantra contains. There is nothing harmful in a mantra. But the point is, if you are using the mantra which will give you the highest for lowest things of the world, then that's danger. So what Tulsidasji says, bhaye kubhaye, do the mantra with proper feeling or do the mantra with annoyance. And do the mantra in a lazy way. Ra, ra. Or do the mantra in anger. Ram, Ram. The Hindu people have that orthodox culture. Something wrong has happened. Ram, Ram. You look at here. What has happened? But whichever way you recite the mantra, it has done something good, unimaginable. Nam japat mangala dasahu. If you do Rama Japa, you have mangal, auspiciousness, good things to happen in all 10 directions. Figure out the 10 directions. You have 4 directions. In between the 2, there is, if you put in another line, that will become 8 directions. And then up and down, then become total 10 directions. And that again is figurative. You are not moving in directions. In whatsoever situation you are, mantra will have its immense power. मोरी सुधारी ही सो सब भांति, जासु कृपा नहीं कृपा अघाती, राम सुस्वामी कुसेव कुमोसो, निज दिशि देखि दया निधि पोसो. That Rama will correct any error that I am going to make in this writing of this project. He whose grace is beyond measure. What a situation. I have Lord and Master, the greatest one, Rama, the best one. And I am the lowest of the low. Again, the point is not to take it literally. When saintly people say that they are low, they are doing 2 things. Firstly, they are expressing their humility. Secondly, they are identifying themselves with countless people who are sinful, following very negative paths. And a sage identifies himself with the misery of all. And calls himself, I am the worst sinner. Thereby inspiring others that if Tulsidasji, who was not a sinner, he considers worst sinner. And all our sins are better than Tulsidas's. In other words, in simple terms, Tulsidasji is expressing his self-effacement and also reminding you of blessed are the poor, for they shall have heaven. They will be blessed with heaven. Poor implies I have nothing, nothing to hold on to. That implies a spiritual insight that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect. And if you have come to that state, then the real I am is Satchidananda. I am absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute bliss. लोकहूँ वेद सुसाहिब रीति, विनय सुनत पहचानत प्रीति, गरीब ग्राम नर नागर, पंडित मूढ़ मलीन उजागर. Even in human world, those who are great leaders, they show humility towards others. The great leaders, they deal with different types of people with great love and with a sense of harmony. Sukavi kukabi nijamati anuhari, nipahi sarahat sab nar nari. Sadhu sujan sun susil nirpala, isha ansa bhava param kripala. The old style. Ideal king is supposed to be very righteous, like King Janaka. Inwardly in tune with God. Outwardly encouraging all, whether someone is rich, whether someone poor, someone is illiterate, someone is highly educated. One is a great scholar, another is a great pandit. Or someone has ill fame and someone is very famous. All types of people are handled by a great spiritual leader with great love. And that's what, by that Tulsidasji is bringing to you a message that no matter how you find yourself as highly a great scholar, or find yourself even illiterate, find yourself very famous, or you have no fame at all, prosperous, or you are full of adversity. No matter how you find yourself, God's love, you have every right for that love. Just like children in a family, no matter how they are, mother is ready to give them perfect love. So therefore, in this philosophy, you approach for help, you are not held back. No matter where you are, you have goodwill, repeat divine name, and be spiritually guided. Suni sanama nahi sabahi subani, bhaniti bhagati gati gati pahichani, bhaniti bhagati nati gati pahichani, यह प्राकृत महिपाल सुभाऊ, जान शिरोमणि कौशल राऊ. Tulsidasji gives a simple example of very prosperous and virtuous kings in their royal court. All types of people go there. And naturally, they express themselves in different ways. But the king doesn't bother about how they express. He recognizes their inner intention and gives respect to them. He understands one's speech, the feeling of devotion, humility, the mannerism. All this is being led to some important point for you to understand. In India, there is a Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patita Pavan Sita Ram. Crowds move with this singing the mantra Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. Rama is the king, the Lord of Raghus, coming from a family line of great sages. He is the Lord of us. He is Raja. Rama is the king. Glory to him. Sabko sanmati de Bhagavan. O Rama, give good understanding to everyone. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, that was the favorite of Mahatma Gandhi. Sabko sanmati de Bhagavan. Whole crowd will go on singing. Suni sanama nahi sabahi subani, bhanati bhagati gati nati gati pahichani, yah prakritan pahi bal subhau, jan shiromani koshal rau. That's Rama, who acts like the ideal king. Rijhat Ram saneha nisote, ko jagamand malinamati mote. Sri Rama is pleased not by good words you say, not by wealth, not by gifts, not by any external show, but by pure love. And if you want to have an illustration of that love, think of baby that has come into your house. The baby looks at the mother. The mother doesn't ask the baby, who are you? What have you brought for us? I'm joking, but that will be unimaginable. Just like the mother becomes pleased with the baby without all those involvements because of pure love. A love that doesn't calculate, doesn't have to ask questions. Rama's love is similar. God's love is similar. That Rama becomes enchanted by the devotee if the devotee shows pure love. Where am I? Tulsidasji says, I am very dull with impure intellect. Tulsidas just goes on showing his humility in his own way. सठ सेवक की प्रीति रुचि रखी हहीं राम कृपाल उपल किए जल जान जहीं सचिव सुमति कपि भालु. That Rama will show his grace, compassion and love towards me who am his servant, though I am not a good servant, I am a dusht servant. But Rama will, because Rama is Rama. It is Rama who turned big stones into floating ships. That relates to the bridge. Ocean was bridged by Rama with the help of monkeys and bears. And monkeys and bears brought big rocks, and they did write Ram, Ram on each rock. And all those rocks began to float. The real meaning behind it. Your life has a basic plan of creating a bridge between conscious mind and the unconscious. And through that, to attain liberation. Obstacles in your life, they are like big rocks. If the monkeys and bears in you are Rama's disciples, monkeys are your mind and his distracted thoughts. Bears are vasanas, subtle desires. If they are under Rama's control, the obstacles that you face, and they seem to endanger your life, they will become, on the other hand, a support for you to cross over the ocean, leading you to something very profound, auspicious. In other words, adversity will turn into spiritual prosperity by Rama's grace. And with this I will conclude. Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Shri Ramaya Namah, Om Namah Shivaya.